So I was sitting on my bed looking through my old YouTube videos, being a little bit nostalgic. When you're a small YouTuber, that's kind of what you do sometimes. You just look back at all the terrible quality content that you've made over the years. But I stumbled across a few videos about this Minecraft adventure map called The Quest of MorrowStal. Many of you who are my old-time fans probably remember me posting tons and tons of videos about this specific adventure map, because at the time, it was my big pride and joy. I'm going to kind of talk about its uprising, its downfall, then its uprising again, and then its ultimate decline. So let's talk about how I started the map. The map started purely out of me just wanting to build a medieval town. I was like, I'm going to build like a rustic medieval town, kind of maybe base the themes off of Skyrim, because I originally wanted to rebuild Riverwood, because I thought that the console version of Minecraft did not do a good enough job to bring Skyrim to life, that they did in their whole Skyrim mashup pack. I didn't think they did a good enough job. So I wanted to do it better. And that project was kind of like meh. I'm not really feeling I was proud with it, so I decided that I was going to instead just make a nice city project. That is why the original file name for the world to this day is actually just called City Project, but I renamed it to The Quest of MorrowStal. Now, I got the name MorrowStal just out of the top of my head. I don't remember how I came up with it, but it was just there. But the idea came from being, let's just build a medieval town based kind of off Skyrim 2. Let's build an adventure map, base it off of Skyrim, but not take a Skyrim so seriously. Just kind of like the whole, medieval feel, had the whole idea of adventuring, have that in there. Because as the map went on, it was less about being medieval and grand structures. It was more of just, here's a world you can explore. It's open, it's cool, fun. So the map started out as there's going to be, 4 main dungeons in the map, and they're in a certain linear order, so that already from the get-go kind of took away from my exploration idea. And then I kind of realized that there's no way for me to have this be, you can go at them in any order, being as it's a open world map, but I've kind of fixed that in something else that I'm working on in Minecraft that I'll talk about later. But I was making this map, and I was building these huge towns that they were impressive. For me, everything in that map is built by hand. There's only been a few times where I actually use like the /fill command, and that's where I'm making one of the towns, Lake Fallengar. You've probably already seen it in the video. That's a town that's just covered in water. It's like a 30 by 30 of just water, and I wanted to make a little lake out of it, so that's what I did. That town is just literally water, and I had to use /fill to get that lake thing going. But other places I just built by hand, like the city of MorrowStal, all that built by hand. I never used /fill, just built it up all the way, all those walls, all the buildings, everything underneath that town, it's all mine. Anyway, so the story is basically that you show up in this nation, you're just whoever you are, whatever you want to call yourself. You show up and you heard about something, the Civil War, and you came to investigate. You also heard that there was great treasure and old ruins to be found in this land, so you wanted to come see those as well. So you thought, fuck it, that's 2 things you can come see, why not? That's kind of the backstory of your character. If you want to make a backstory for him even more, or her, go ahead, it's up to you. I don't really care, that's kind of the idea. So you go visit the first Jarl of the town, which, directly Skyrim and Norse mythology, right there. You visit him, and he says that he's got a problem with some bandits. You go back to near where you started, and clear out a bandit fort. Go back to him. Oh, that's not right. You clear out the bandit fort, and then you head off to a new town. But what ended up happening this was one setback that ended up happening. I had my computer, my old HP desktop from my 2011 that literally had one stick of 4 gigabytes of RAM, no graphics card, and then like a really shitty CPU. I think it was a Core i3, and there was, it was bad. It's a bad computer, but it's old, so whatever. So what ended up happening was I left the computer on, and I left Minecraft, that world open, and there was a lightning storm. A big thunderstorm came by, and lightning struck the house, and it corrupted that world file a little bit. So there's a certain spot, it was a spot that I was standing in, so the area that had been rendered during the time of the thunderstorm, which luckily wasn't a lot because that computer was crappy. You could only render like 4 or 6 chunks maximum without you having to get like below 30 FPS. And 30 FPS is already bad enough for me. I can't stand it. I have to have 60. 60's it's the refresh rate of my monitor, so yay, it's the maximum frame rate that I can actually use. Otherwise, I'm not actually getting any improvement at all. Anyway, so let's go back to the map. So the map area was corrupted. Anytime I would go within this area, text files got fucked up. Everything got fucked up on this. I don't know what else got fucked up on the computer, but there was nothing else that seemingly got damaged. I think it was just the computer got affected, whatever application was running, which just happened to be Minecraft. And Minecraft on the computer ran fine. It just happened to be that world file that got really fucked up. Like signs would have tons of slashes going through, and whenever I walked in that certain area, that area that was rendered during the thunderstorm, the frame rate would drop to like 6 frames, and then if I got too close to that area, it would drop to 0 in like no time flat. It was bad, to say the least. So I decided to make a huge workaround around that using barrier blocks and fences is kind of a way to say, hey, don't go over here. Your frame rate will probably drop to 0 because of the corrupted world file. And this is like a huge pimple on the middle of your face that you just can't get rid of, because no matter how great the map was, it was really annoying to have to fly around that certain area in order to avoid the corrupted part of the world. And the problem with all of that is that there was like trees and all this other stuff in this one area, and then in the middle of the map you had this one spot that was just empty. There were like a few trees, some grass, that was it. So you guys will probably see it as I'm flying around here. But that's really what the problem with the map was. And then after that, I kept building on. I built Falkhold Reach. I built, what was it, Enormia? Something like that. It was a town that was covered in wood. It was dark. It's supposed to be like the dark forest kind of thing. To get there, you had to walk through this really dark forest where no natural light could get into. And it was a pain in the ass to get there, quite frankly. And that would lead you to your second one. The third dungeon was in Lake Fallengar, which is a town I've already mentioned. So you had, what was the name of the, I think the first town was called Elvenwood. The town behind the player's spawn point was called Norwood, maybe? And then there's MorrowStal City. I think that's all 5. So you have Elvenwood, Norwood, maybe. I don't remember that one too well. MorrowStal City, Lake Fallengar, and then, not Falkreath, I want to say Falkreath, but it's something Falkhold. It's Falkhold Reach, and then Enormia, I think, are the names of the towns. There's a few other little villages that you could find out and about, little campsites, but the reason that this map ultimately failed, and the reason I decided to take it off Planet Minecraft a couple of years ago, is because it wasn't what I wanted it to be. I ultimately saw it as just a failure. It was not good. The story was boring. There was nothing going on. And I tried to make it like super meta. There were like 3 different endings to the map, one of which was like, turns out the whole map is in a simulation, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, I'm working on too many things at once. I need to set and focus on just getting one thing down. And ultimately, that was the flaw of the map. It's not too small, but I mean, I guess in terms of stuff to do, it's pretty boring. I mean, 90%. I'll say this. Maybe like 80, 60%, anywhere between that range of the map was just you wandering around and look, trees, cool. It was just flat with trees everywhere, boring. So that kind of leads me to the end all. I was working on something. It was supposed to be like an extension. The story is finished. The full story. It's all done. It's all finished. The final battle is with the Wither, and then you can go back, and then you can fight the Ender Dragon, and then you can continue on to a second part of the story that never got finished. But that's about it for the main story. But my ultimate decision, I was working on like an expansion, I guess you'd call it, quotation marks, expansion, for the map, and it was supposed to be in this other country that I had made up. I think I call it like Gowanwood, or what I would call now Quarrowstone, in terms of the lore of the universe that it is in. But that all came down pretty quickly. It wasn't that good. I didn't like it. And seeing the lackluster views in the videos and seeing the lackluster downloads in the map, I just ultimately said, I'm shutting this down. I'm done. It's out. That's it. So that is the story of the quest of MorrowStal. That is the end of this video. If you guys enjoyed it, please tell me in the comment section below. And just for you guys watching this far into the video, I do have a surprise announcement. I did make a video on this a few months ago, but I am working on another adventure map similar to the quest of MorrowStal. I will be making a video on it, and I think you guys will ultimately enjoy it. But for now, I think that's about the end of the video. Yeah, if you guys want to see more content like this one, me talking about old Minecraft projects, tell me in the comment section. I am totally open to that. I would love to talk to you guys more often about this sort of thing. But I think that's going to have to be it for now. I will see you guys all next time. Bye-bye.